There you are. How are you?
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing awesome. How are you?
Awesome. I'm happy that you're awesome.
Well, I'm happy you're happy. I'm happy you're awesome.
And Happy New Year.
Well, to you too. It's that time of year again, Katarina.
Yes, yes, here we are again. Can you believe it? I can't believe it.
So, what are we going to talk about today?
You always have such interesting stories. I was wondering what your take on some of what's popping off in the media and just like current events. I wonder what your take is. Like for instance, like with AI, like what impact you
I
see.
think AI is probably going to put stuntmen out of business.
Ah, yikes.
It probably is going to put set design and set decorators out of business. But I think the fear that it'll put actors out of business is unfounded.
Interesting. Interesting.
That
So,
there'll be a lot of crafts we don't need.
mm, yeah, yeah.
And again, we don't need buggy whip makers anymore either.
I hadn't.
Stuff
So just
happens.
yeah.
I'm not trying to be insensitive, but I'm stoic. I'm accepting the reality.
And I guess that's the healthiest attitude we could have ultimately, right?
I mean, I don't like it. I've got scripties and grips and stunt people and set designers and prop masters who I love dearly, and I think they're going to be jobless.
I wow. Wow. Yeah, that sets in when you put it that way, that really sets in like, I hadn't thought of the stuntman. I was like
Well,
everybody else thinking more
well,
actors, writers.
you're not going to need stuntmen if they could take a picture of a stuntman and then AI it. And
Yeah.
then the guy could jump off of the Empire State Building
Right, right,
and other things that stuntmen can't do now. I mean, there's got to be a height limit of a building they can fall from.
right.
Now we have no limit. We don't have to have Spider Man on hooks and pulleys swinging in CGI anymore.
Mm, wow. Wow. Did you kind of like see this coming? Like,
No,
no?
no, I'm a boomer. I'm stuck in my ways, girl. The Zoom shit, that I didn't see either.
But you're innovative, so I don't see you as boomer mentality. I see you
Well,
very innovative.
I make movies, so I've got to know just like when digital came in and the red came in. I remember doing a TV show called Rizzoli and Isles. First time I had used a digital camera. And damn, I forget the actress's name. Uh, Whomever played Rizzoli, she went over to the screen and darkened her lips and darkened her cheeks on the set.
Wow.
And I never
Wow.
seen that before. That was wow.
Wow. So, but it's interesting to me you still have hope for the writers because I just like I was
I think
just
there's always room for creativity.
okay.
AI is not creative. AI is man learned. I think there'll be writers. I think there'll be directors. I think there'll be actors. There'll be producers. But all the people who do all these fantastic stunts and designs, I mean, we'll never have to shoot Monument Valley anymore. So goes John Ford. You know, they can just put that in later.
Hmm.
It'll make fix it and post a real meaning, won't it? I'll never forget I saw the making of Game of Thrones, and it had Amelia Clark with her dragon, and she was really sitting on a pile of green foam rubber things. And they put a dragon there later. And that's when I became aware of all this.
Wow. Yeah, yeah, I'd heard like, people acting to like a ball. I think John Turturro on something. I think Transformers, like as he's driving, like reacting to a ball hanging out of a car door. But yeah, it just keeps on getting more advanced and more advanced.
Yeah,
And
think of Jurassic Park.
yeah, yeah.
Think what Stevie Spielberg could have done. Close Encounters, which is the first movie I PA'd on.
Oh wow. Then I'd be remiss if I didn't bring up the drones. But
I
I'd love
like
to.
drones. I mean, drones give you shots that you can never have gotten before. The helicopters couldn't have done. Then again, they're armaments too. But as far as the original intent of drones to replace helicopters and things like that, they're great. And that hasn't displaced anyone because you still have a cameraman operating the camera on the drone.
Right, right. Yeah, no, I was thinking though of the drones that are in the news right now, kind of getting into not really panic mode, but a lot of people are like saying it's this or it's that. I was wondering your take
Well, it's
on it. And
probably
then
either this or that, that's for sure. But Culver City, which used to have a great fireworks show, did
Mhm.
a drone show, and it was like, no
Huh.
explosions, no crackling, just these little drones with lights, and I was underwhelmed.
Uh, I'd love to go back to what you were saying about your first job, your first PA job. What was that like for you? And I don't know,
Well,
was
I, I, I was socially involved with one of the producers, and she wanted me on the set, and we started double dating with Stevie and Amy Irving, and that's the story. I didn't do shit except hung in the dressing room.
That's awesome. I love this. I love your candor. It's so refreshing. You could have said, yeah, I was running around and, putting up sets and helping with the cameras and everything
No, I was a
else.
boy toy. I was the first Coogie in Cougarland.
I love it. What did you think of the movie? Did you kind of have a feeling, wow, it's going to be this, great feat?
Well,
Um,
Stephen is a genius. He and I are friends, not like we were back then, but he's gone on to a different wife and like a million other kids. But he's a smart man, a genius. He knew how to pick marketability,
uh,
and God bless him.
yeah, yeah. And how about now? Like I know you're involved in so many things. Um, you're a lawyer, producer, actor. What's on your plate currently? What's catching your eye?
I just played something like a Muppet
Oh yeah.
in a thing. I played Grimpy. Now I'm going to teach you how to use the ABCs, kids, on a voiceover up for a puppet.
Wow.
Well, that was loads of fun. Um, I'm either a cheap man's Sam Elliott or a cheap man's Larry David. I can play both.
Yes.
Mostly, I'm Sam Elliott for the low, for the financially challenged.
And what about for projects? Because you have a production company as well, right?
Yeah, that's dead.
Uh,
The strike basically killed the financing of the Zendaya movie and the Queen Latifah Journey Smollett movie. Um, so that's kind of in the doldrums. In California, production is in a depression. So mostly my work has been clearance counsel, intellectual properties, title reports, fair use letters, script clearance, the last signature in an E&O policy.
I see. And what do you think, like, in terms of like shooting in California? I know you said it's kind of in a depression right now. Is there like a push? Do you feel the push being helpful, right? Did I hear
Well,
they're
they
gonna
they they
raise?
raised the they raised the tax incentive to 750 million. Um, we'll see if it helps. Right now, the actors can go shoot in Atlanta or in Vancouver or New Mexico, but the grips and the scripties and the gaffers, they can't, because there's other gaffers and scripties and cameramen in those places. So they're having problems relocating. The actors won't have a problem. The directors won't. Then it's not going to affect writing.
I always marvel at what a film is. I just see it as such a replication of everything that goes on in life. Like we never know how interconnected we all truly are on each
Well,
other.
they say that most motion pictures in California, some areas like Santa Clarita, 30% of the people have the breadwinner somehow connected to the industry. So a strike hurt everybody. I knew dojos that closed because
Wow.
people weren't able to pay the monthly dues, and Equinox and LA Fitness gyms closed because people didn't have the stipends during the
Wow.
strike. So people were hurt.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like, I'm sure there's people that don't understand, like somewhere in like, oh, just Hollywood or whatever. But yeah, it's really like, you know, life sustaining industry,
Yeah,
community
well, Hollywood
sustaining
is really
industry.
made up of a lot of middle class people and a few very wealthy people. Most producers are middle class, like me, upper middle class, lower upper class, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, we make good money, but we're not the Steven Spielbergs or the Martin Scorseses or the Christopher Nolans. And most actors don't get Angelina Jolie prices.
Mhm.
They're lucky to make health and welfare each year, which
Right,
I think is 20, 30,000 a year.
right. SAG regulations of you have to make this much in
And
order to.
those people, the day players, are not able to go to Atlanta for the job because no producer shooting in Atlanta is going to pay 2 or 3 days' wages and housing and everything else for an actor to do 5, 6 lines.
Right,
They'll find them in Atlanta.
right.
If I were an actor watching this today, my new best friend should be Raven Drummer and Kim Coleman because they're the leading casting directors in Atlanta.
Ah, see, I was just gonna ask that. Do you think overall today the best advice is to just make your own projects? Um,
Well, yeah, but then that's getting money. I talked to a young man who's a writer director, and all he's ever done is shorts, and no one will lend him money because he can't get a completion bond.
ah,
So he's stuck with a budget of 250 on a million or $2 million budgeted film, and it's tough. I told him to start doing a lot of shorts, build up credibility with the E&O companies and the bonding companies.
yeah,
Start low, do a $500,000 movie, then 1 million. I mean, no one's going to give you 10 or $20 million for your first film,
right.
unless you're Rachel Morrison. But Rachel
Yeah,
Morrison had been a DP for decades, and she just directed her first movie. I forget what it is. It's one of the screeners I saw. but that's how she got the director. But then her IMDb is humongous with things like Black Panther and stuff as a DP. So people trusted her.
Right, right. Reputation is everything.
Yeah, but a young kid out of film school with a script, it's going to be tough getting financing. That's the problem I'm having with my two productions, even though in one we had Zendaya, and in the other one we have Journey Smollett and Queen Latifah and Aldous Hodge. But getting funding is tough.
Wow. Well, I hope and pray that somebody will see this interview and call you to get those projects made.
Yeah, I hope so too. I'd like to produce a couple more before I retire. I mean, I'm getting up in age. I'm 71. People don't realize that when they yell cut at the end of the day, that's when a producer's job begins tomorrow. They have to deal with permits, make sure people are picking up at the airport, and go over with the scriptee, the script notes, go over with the first and second ADs, the call sheet. So it's really a 16, 17-hour day for a producer and for the ADs.
This always fascinates me too in terms of producing. Like, what catches your eye about a project? Is it like, oh, this is going to be hysterical? Like, oh, I could see this. Like,
no, it's all money.
Okay.
This one can recoup my investors' money and make us all money. This one has a high enough budget that my producer fees can pay my rent. And hopefully there'll be profit in the back.
Makes sense. Makes sense. And in a way,
I mean, this is a business.
Yeah.
I'm working on an MBA because I'm bored, because I'm not producing with Tish, New York, NYU, and it's called The Business of Entertainment.
Ah.
For those of us in the business, we pay our rent, we buy gasoline, we go to local restaurants based on what we earned as a producer in a movie. So if the movie doesn't make money or the movie isn't funded, we don't make money.
It's like a dollars and cents kind of rationale when you're picking your projects.
If a movie costs $20 million, and I don't think I can sell it for $20 million. Actually, it's got to be higher because I've got to pay the distributor and the sales agent, and I've got to pay the actors and all that. A movie that's shown at a theater has to come back 3 times the budget to break even, because the theater owner gets a third, the distributor gets a third of the 67 cents. Then you have to pay for the advertising and the print costs. So by the time you're done, you maybe get a third. So I have to get 3 times the budget to break even for my investors. And if I can't bring a movie that a streamer will buy with a return to my investors, or the market will sell tickets, I can't make it. There's no room for an investor to just piss money away because they like the story. Nobody's going to do that.
I think that's the most honest thing I've heard in doing this. It's true. I once heard somebody else tell me too, like, hey, you ask people for money, and it's like you have to understand some people love money more than their children.
Well, when they invest, the standard deal is they get all their money back plus 20% before we split it 50-50 with them. So if I can't return their money, I never make any money.
Right. You touched on something I think also that's a big headache, blessing and a curse, however it wants to be seen. Distribution. like I've heard horror stories of, people having to hold on to their films like after it's made because a distributor wants, crazy caveats or what have you. What maybe is some advice you'd give to people who are at that stage? They have their movie completed, and maybe they're gonna go shop it at like Toronto or something or some other
Find a
market.
good sales agent. Don't do it themselves. Hire somebody who has relationships. When you go to AFM or those places, there are certain people who are in the business of selling movies. They're worth every penny of it.
Yeah, yeah.
And if people want to write me at Bruce Nahin, I'll give them some sales agents' names. That's BRUCENAHIN on Instagram. I'll respond.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful. Yeah, no, you're always so kind. Yeah, no, everybody just has nothing but great things to say about you. I really appreciate like not only what you do for us here for the festival, but it just seems to me that like you're kind of like the connector spoke for so many people, in the wheel. You know, I just think that's so wonderful. So I just have to always thank you for that.
Well, you've got to give it back to the next generation. You kids, and I use kids pejoratively. Anyone, my boys, my daughters' age are kids. Uh, but it's our job to teach you guys. Otherwise, what is there when what's our legacy? I mean, 3 generations from now, our great grandkids won't know we existed. So we've got to do it with our kids and our grandkids.
Wow, that's a great way to look at it. Yeah, not everybody has that attitude.
Well, but it's all to me about legacy.
Um,
You can't take it with you, but it'd be nice to have someone win an Academy Award and say, I want to thank blah blah.
yeah, yeah. Yes. Is there who are you looking towards like as the next like Spielberg, let's say maybe, or do you have any of those people, or are there any people in that range right now that are
Yeah, well,
working on
there's
something?
a lot. There's a lot of young people. In fact, the majority of the stuff I've been screening for the AMPAS for the awards have been newer directors. This Rachel Morrison's a good example, who's come up from being a DP. But there's the kid who did Honora. I forget names, but if you look at the ones that are the favorites to get nominated, most of them are young people. You're not hearing any Scorsese's or Spielberg's or Christopher Nolan's this year.
Interesting take. Yeah, yeah.
And most of the movies are slice of life people stories, like Substance. Did Demi Moore not come back out of the box? She did great. And there's more and more female directors because a movie like Baby Girl with Nicole Kidman, it had to be a woman. And I'm hopeful to see that glass ceiling broken.
Yes, yes. No, that's amazing. Yeah, because it's always shocking when you look at it from that perspective of the Oscars always, traditionally looking over women. Yeah, no, no, so in line with our festival as well. Yeah, that's
And
beautiful.
there's more and more African American actors, directors, producers are putting out some decent stuff. Six triple eight is one that Tyler Perry's people put out that's being talked about, and Kerry Washington did a wonderful job acting there. So Kate Winslet did a good job in a film called Lee, which was directed by a woman. So there's a lot going on.
Yeah, yeah. No, it's really refreshing to see because like as you said in terms of legacy, like I always think of, little girls like watching just only male directors, take the lead and get the spotlight. So I like you said, it's just beautiful to see.
Yeah,
Um
between women and POCs, I think this will be a good year at the Academy.
about time. Yeah.
I think the phrase is time's up, and yes,
Yeah.
hashtag time's up.
Yeah,
Anyway, if
yeah.
y'all want to reach me, I'm at 661-236-9721 and at Bruce Nahin, and I'll respond.
Beautiful. Yes, yes. Thank you. Thank you so much again. Thank you. I always
I love
enjoy
you.
this
Yeah.
time of year. Love you too, just to get to see and hang out with you for a bit.
Talk to you soon, babe.
Bye
Yes.
bye.
Ciao, ciao.
Bye,
Many
everyone.
blessings.
So